So I'm trying to tinker with the feed by moving it in and out. This is a 1/4 inch further out. Other than the extremely noisy FFT tonight, the hump is still about the same level as it was yesterday. I understand you guys got a lot of snow yesterday. I spent quite a bit of time today building the adapter so I can mount the 6-foot dish onto the Ioptron as Mount Pro. I have it under control, but I must find the exact focal point first. So we're going to be sitting vertically for a little bit. The other big surprise of the day is that the raw data, the magnitude has changed from about 39 dB. It went all the way down to about 43, and now it has settled back up at about, I would say 41.5, 42. So don't know what's causing it to move up and down. But you can see it on the big green display. It was yellowish, and then it went greenish, and then bluish, and then back green, and now it is reddish. So the plan for tonight is over the next hour, as the Milky Way passes overhead, I'm going to adjust the horn or the feed by moving it further out by 1/4 inch every 15 minutes and see if the signal improves or worsens. I'm not going to worry about the noise, so we will not be reacquiring background. So this is 7:15. I'm going to go down and move it by another 1/4 inch. Be back. Hi, Isobeg. So for those who just joined us, after yesterday's successful first light, the next step is to optimize the antenna by finding the correct focal point, the correct location for the tip of the feed. So I'm moving it out by about a quarter inch every 15 minutes to see if we can see any difference in the little hump, and it seems to be decreasing. I will run another graph in a couple of minutes and see if we can tell. And if it is indeed decreasing, we'll move it in the opposite direction and see if that works. It is cloudy and rainy outside, so there is no point in overlaying the sky cam. Good night, Daryl. We'll see you next time. the magnitude of the hump in the middle has definitely decreased. I'm gonna give it one more sample and then go down and move it in the opposite direction, see if it'll go up. Okay, we're approaching the 900,000 samples. All right, let's run the computation once more. Success. Yep, needless to say, looking at here, it dropped dramatically. All right, we'll move it in the other direction. I'll be back. Hello, Jacob. I got your program running. There it is. It is updating every 3 minutes. Sorry, 3 minutes? Yes, 5 minutes, whatever. And I am getting the graph updated accordingly. This is the latest. But somehow it does concur here with the other one that I'm getting from there. What I've been doing over the past half hour, actually more like 40 minutes, is moving the antenna, moving the feed away from the dish, and now I'm moving it back. Initially here we were at 29 inches, we moved to 30, sorry, we were at 30, we moved to 31 and did not get much. Now we moved back to 28. The shape of the entire curve has taken a turn for the worse. Hello, Bill. Bill, I have Jacob's software running, and it is creating the CVS or CSV files, and then this is Jacob's creation that's being updated. Every 5 minutes or so. These are the files, and what I have done is move the antenna out and lost the signal pretty much completely. Now I moved it back in and a touch further in. I do not have the luxury of acquiring background, so we're foregoing the background now. But the shape of the FFT went from being totally flat to having a lot more attitude or character. Milky Way is overhead. But right now it's raining very heavily. I'm soaking wet. So we're going to give it another 6 minutes, couple more samples, and then plot them. If I were to, Jacob, if I were to delete, to clear this and plot yours, come on, don't want to? Oh, it's here, okay. This is the raw data power and raw data dB scaled, generated automatically every 5 minutes. So this is what we are getting. Fairly good. That greenish on top is when I move the feed out. By out I mean away from the dish. And the other one generated by Jacob's program is the power, and there it is. Don't know why it did that at the beginning, and then it became very well behaved. Don't know, Bill, what the dish is doing at this point. If you slide your YouTube to about half an hour ago, actually even 15 minutes ago, you will see that line was pretty level. I finished building the contraption that will carry the dish on the AS Mount Pro. Welcome back, Jacob. This is the plot generated by your data. And your program is working. However, the plots generated by from your data by your program, the PNG, looks slightly different. Both of these are generated from your data. Okay, as soon as we get to 900,000, we will process and plot again. Yeah, I was outside adjusting or soaking the rain. Okay, we have another sample. Let us run. We were at 89, clear. Choose directory. 1, 2, 3. So we have 5 more, which is consistent. At 3 minutes, 15 minutes is 5 more process. Bill, as I mentioned to you, when I rebooted the program, it stopped putting zeros at the beginning, which is the Microsoft fix. So this is what we had. We're adding 5 lines. Whoa. I'm going to focus at 1.42 only. Never mind that part to the right, which we see here. But we seem to have a slightly stronger signal right now than we did earlier. Looking just at the hydrogen line, this seems to be a lot better than it was earlier. Hello, Toner. Yeah, DB is fine, Jacob. The only thing I've not been able to do is I've not been able to convince it to display that PNG that you create, to display it and update it automatically. But the program is working exactly as intended. So right now I have no way of running a background, of resetting the background, because the Milky Way is overhead. Hello, CGD. Tonight's experiment, which is not lasting much longer, was to move the feed in and out. This is where we started. That was about 30 inches from the dish. We went to 31, lost the signal, went to 28, and it got really strong. Plus an awful lot of, I don't know if this is a side lobe or what happened, but instead of being totally flat, it became S-shaped. And we still have our signal down there. Yeah, Jacob, yeah, it's no big deal. I will write a batch to open it every 5 minutes. That's easy. This is the latest. The weather forecast for the rest of the night is heavy rain. And according to Astrospheric, it's going to be cloudy and rainy all weekend. Tomorrow I plan to put the two Soulbird plus LNAs in series and see if we can get legitimate gain, or whether they will saturate the software-defined radio. The SDR allows for adjusting the RF gain here. If you look at the top level, if I slide it, that thing goes down. So if I have to adjust that to eliminate saturation, I will do that. But my main question is, when I put the second one in series, how high will this go? And more importantly, will it let us see the hydrogen line before the FFT? I did rotate the feed, and it seems to have an impact on the noise primarily. You may recall we had this spike here a while back. There it is back. The 14,19,955, whatever it was. That we were able to eliminate on the smaller dish by rotating the dish. It is back now. But much to Jacob's horror, while we both know that the 6-foot dish is better than a 3-foot dish, I still have not been able to get the 6-foot dish to deliver better performance. I am not sure I can convince the same computer, one computer, to receive feeds from two separate SDRs. The good news is my two SDRs are different devices, so I may be able to convince it. If that's the case, I'd like to put the two dishes side by side and look at what they do. Otherwise, it'll have to be two computers and then display them side by side. So we might get a tiny break in the rain, but not much. Yeah, the spike is clearly visible on the raw data, and it is amplified by the FFT. It is 8 o'clock. I'm going to move the feed closer to the dish one more time. I'll be right back to see what it does in the next 15 minutes. Okay, lowered it by another ½ inch. Hello, Alan. Trying to move the feed in and out. This is the last step for tonight because the rain is getting heavy and I'm getting wet and cold. One disadvantage of putting the dish on a mount is that we cannot use it in the rain. Okay, thanks, Bell. That frequency does not ring a bell. It does not correspond to anything, to any known emitter, unless it is a harmonic from something much lower. But it is definitely at 1419,955. There it is. Yup, 1419,955. And as we go here, yep, it's right there. I don't know what the other peak is next to it. I must have become an extension to the antenna for a short while. One unfortunate consequence of the current setup is that the same threaded rod that ties the dish to the tripod is also carrying the feed. I'd like to separate these two to split them so I can move the feed up and down without having to loosen the tripod and the dish. Al, the clock accuracy is going to become even more important when we try to combine data from two sources. Hello, source code. We don't do excellent, we do just good enough. So I'm going to give it another 6 minutes or thereabouts and display to see what happened to our peak. We still have a peak, and the left edge is getting even more pronounced, the S shape. My mom would agree with you. Bill, that's a very good point. Oh, it has been raining all day. And yes, there is more water on the dish than there was yesterday. This big mess to the right was over us all day. It's only now moving out. Yes, I have used the 1 meter in the rain. We have been reasonably fortunate, actually. Our pond is down by about a foot. We need the rain, we need the water. The 1 meter dish has much larger spacing within the grid among the elements, because it was intended only for a C-band. The 6-foot dish is intended for both C-band and KU band, so the mesh is a lot tighter and rain will hang in there, will not just drain through. This is the difference. That dish, the elements are so far apart. That's the 1 meter dish that raindrops will not bridge two elements. They will just fall right through. Whereas the 6-foot dish has an extremely tight aluminum mesh, and water will just sit on it and not go anywhere. I will be going sleeping in another few minutes, Jacob. Alright, it has been 15 minutes. As soon as this one gets to 900,000, we will see what we have. So we were at 94. Now it's 103. That's the number of samples or files. Processed it. And let's display it. I don't know. Doesn't seem to be too different. So we will have some more testing to do. In the meantime, Jacob's picture was updated 2 minutes ago. Seems to have gapped on the previous setting. Let me plot Jacob's data. Yeah, it has definitely saturated. It was good before this last sample. Or before this last set of samples. Alright, this is the raw data without so we were doing better before we moved the antenna that much closer. Alright. Not at this point, Bill, no. Haven't found one that is reasonably priced. They all have comma in the prices. But what I'm getting from that crowd supply place is a 1.4 gigahertz dish and 1.4 gigahertz feed and 1.4 gigahertz LNA, all built into one unit. When I say 1.4, it really is 1.42, where the dish, the feed, and the LNA all tuned on the hydrogen line, and the only thing I will need then is a software defined radio. They said they are shipping on November 7, so that'll be next week. We'll see if that indeed materializes. So given the data from Jacob's plots and from the other plots, looks like I need to move the dish, the feed just about half an inch back out to bring us to where we had reasonable stuff. This is where we need to be operating. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna give Jacob a chance to go sleep, and I shall do the same. I have my last long run coming up this weekend before my next marathon, fingers crossed. We shall continue tweaking, and I'll keep you posted. For now, good night, everyone.